This is part 2 in the how to make a space game from scratch tutorial. Again, these tutorials will be short so my voice can be synced with my video correctly and I don't overwhelm you with tons of talking. Okay, so you should have already imported your sprites and your made objects out of them. You'll want to make sure that you have your ship sprite that your game will start with, the player's ship, and also a weapon that he can shoot, and that's what we'll be using in this tutorial. So once you've imported your object, you'll need a background too of space to make it look better as you work. And you can do that under backgrounds and you just right click import background. I do have a few space backgrounds on my site you can download. So once you import your background, make sure it's in little pieces. I have mine in one big file, but that takes up extra memory. Later I'm going to change this to a squared piece so you can tile it. You'll want to go down to the room tabs and right click and insert room. When you insert a room, you'll have a little box here, and you'll want to add your background. You can, right here, you can stretch or tile it. Then you'll want to go to your settings, give it a name, and set a width. I set my width to 1280 by 800, so it's a little bit more widescreen. That way if I make it into the Xbox, or most people have widescreen monitors nowadays, that way it'll fit their screen better. And make the room persistent. And you don't need anything for speed, that's just the default setting that it gave me. Once you have your background and your room set, go ahead and import your object. In this case, I'm going to import my starter ship. Okay, so let's work on him so we can get him controlled. Oops, looks like I got a little ass right here in the corner. Okay. Let's go up to my ship and take a look. We'll need to have some create events. We'll need to have some alarms to control the create events. And then I have my collisions. And then I have my controls. I'll just be showing you the create event and the step event in this segment. With all my collisions, I have them all. I don't use any parents. I just put all my collisions in here. I know things get cluttered, but that's just the way I do it. I also use drag and drops, and I don't use as much coding as I'd like because I haven't learned all the codes for all the drag and drops yet. So with anything you can trade a code for a drag and drop, please feel free to do so. Under the create event, the most important one is the ship on. Go to the control tab, drag and drop a variable. Name this variable ship underscore on. Set it to 0. The reason this is important because when you have our little spaceman and he exits and enters the ship will turn on and off. And this will apply for any ship that you're able to drive. Also create another variable called facing. I use see here under the main 1 tab a command called transform sprite, which unfortunately I think is only available in the purchasable version of this program. And I use that to control my sprite. If you don't have the purchased version of this program, there is other ways to control your sprite, but you'll have to adapt to be able to figure out how to do it. Also create another variable called fire shot, which is used to control the speed at which your bullet is fired. And set a variable for health and for energy. Don't name your you don't have to name your variable something this long. I did that and it was a mistake. Later I just started using hit points to 100, energy to 100, and it's a lot easier. And then finally under the move tab, drag and drop a friction command and set that to 0.08. Next, we'll want to add our alarms. For alarm 0, set the fire shot to 0. Under alarm 1, under the move tab, set your direction and speed of motion to facing to 30. Under alarm 2, set your ship on to 1. I think I'll stop there to keep this tutorial a little shorter, and then next I will go into the complicated step event and the collisions and so forth.